Time is a precious commodity on this brisk morning in Nigeria's capital city. And for Dr. Sanusi Ohiare, the task is great and time is almost always fast spent.
Hello, Hannah.
Good morning, sir.
Abdul, Hannah.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. How's it going?
Hailing from Adavi local government area of Kogi State, this 32-year-old energy specialist was appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari to lead in the effort to electrify rural Nigeria.
I'm in charge of the Rural Electrification Fund. That means I'm in charge of raising funds, which is like one of the major challenges that we have, raising funds for the agency to be able to do its job and carry out its mandates. And as you know, we've relied largely on government, just budgetary allocation over the years. But with the mandate that we have now from the President and the Minister of Power, we are supposed to look outside government, sort of bring all the stakeholders together, the likes of the World Bank, the GIZ, other international donor agencies, other DFIs, bring them together, see how we can have some sort of master plan that would appeal to them so that they can come in. And the act that established us actually allows us to do that. We're supposed to get monies from fines obtained from NERC, from the surplus of yearly surplus of NERC after audited accounts. We're supposed to get money from gifts from and loans from the DFIs, from the international donor agencies, the likes of the World Bank and the rest. And also NERC is supposed to determine a certain rate from licensees and eligible customers, which means the distribution companies and other eligible customers that was recently declared, which means anybody that gets licensed to generate or transmit or distribute electricity from the regulator, they are supposed to give us a certain amount, yearly from their turnover. But that's not being done right now, and that's one of the challenges we are facing because of the liquidity problems within the sector. The NERC is reluctant, to do this, and we are basically handicapped because there's only so much we can get from the government given the situation, and it's making our jobs, very difficult for us to do because without funds, we cannot operate and provide electricity at the scale that we want to, provide. And for me, this is very critical. We need to put our money where our mouth is. So if electricity is very important, or if we see it as very important, then all the stakeholders now, because government is doing its part, regulator is also part of government. Everybody needs to see it in that light. We all need to be committed, we all need to have the will and just do the right things, do what the Act has said we should do. The regulator needs to determine, that specific rate so that we can function. Hamza, please, you give this to Mrs. Mando to treat, and you file this one. Thank you.
With limited power generation and ailing transmission infrastructure, Nigerians in urban communities across the country are accustomed to seeing their lights flicker on and then off. But in many rural communities, lights don't come on at all, a situation which government officials say will be addressed with a renewed focus on solar energy for a lasting solution.
I mean, the board was only inaugurated in May, but immediately we assumed office, we started doing that very critical role that REA ought to have been doing, which is to also coordinate, because we are supposed to coordinate all the activities of rural electrification in the country. So that means, it doesn't mean we need to do everything, it only means we need to work with everybody that is in this space. So we have a lot of international development agencies already doing something along this line. We have state governments doing something along this line. We have NGOs, we have private developers. So when we came on board, what we did was to begin to call all these people and tell them the new direction of REA, where we want to be the center, and then we'll coordinate all these activities and see how we can also support them. For us, we are looking at how we can focus on decentralized technologies and systems, such as mini-grids, solar home systems, and the likes. We generate in different communities and supply that immediate community. It's not just about talking. What is the role of government, basically, is to put that enabling environment, for private people and every player, basically, to thrive, have a fair and level playing ground. Is this government doing that? Yes, that's what they're doing. Did the previous government do it? Well, I don't know. If they had done it, maybe we would have moved forward a bit. Are we doing, can we do more? Sure. So we are not just going to rest on ours and say, oh, we've done this, and until it translates to more megawatts on the ground and more electricity for the people at a sustained manner, then we wouldn't have been said to have done our jobs. But are we putting, those building blocks piece by piece, just to make sure we get there? We are doing it. Is it challenging? Yes, it is. But that's why we're here. And like I usually tell my staff, they've been wonderful, really. They've been very supportive. It's working here in the REA is not just about coming to collect salary and stuff or making a living. You have to be passionate about the job you do, because a lot of people rely on you. We have 95 million people that don't have access to electricity. They don't know what electricity is. They've never seen it. So we have a lot of work to do. But the previous government, because they didn't see it, see the need for these things to flow, the normal way, they didn't take it seriously. But the first thing this government did when they came in place in 2015 was to approve most of those things that we've done, like the policy, the Rural Education Strategy and Implementation Plan. We've worked on it since 2013, so just lying down there. But immediately this government came in, we sort of advocated for this to be passed, and immediately they reviewed it and saw that it was something good for the sector, and they approved it. We also have the Rural Electrification, Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Policy. That was also passed last year during the National Council on Power in Kaduna. The minister approved it because he felt the need. Everybody has been advocating for having more renewable, especially at decentralized level and all of that. He felt, the need to complement and have a more robust and diverse energy mix, and he approved it. The president also approved it. We have the political will, we have all the support, the minister and the president, the vice president. They've been very wonderful, they support us a lot. We have a managing director that is also very young and hardworking, and she's been doing wonderfully well. And then we have a board that sees it, sees the new direction of REA as something that we need to really take seriously, and they give us